Hi everyone, my name is Rich Buha. I am the channel sales manager for the Northeast for PR Electronics. And today what we'd like to do is review your demo kits and help you to make a better presentation, a more effective presentation with your customers. In particular today we're going to focus on the 4116, which really does show differentiation of PR electronics products. So first, I'd like to show you the demo kits. If you don't already know what's in them, we can talk about that a little bit, and then we'll move on more into the presentation of the product itself, how it works, how you can become comfortable with it, and make an effective presentation. PR Electronics offers two types of sample kits. First, the standard demo kit, and then we also have an EX version. Included in the standard kit, you'll find a 24-volt power source, a Type K thermocouple, a 5437D2 temperature transmitter, the 4501 clip-on configurator and display. We also have the 3113, which is a Hart 7 temperature converter. And the star of this show is the 4116, which is the universal, which again, you'll find to be the most effective tool in this kit. This is a real live demo. You can show how things are programmed, how they work, show real movement. And last but not least, in your kits, you'll find what we call a cheat sheet, which is good for you to take a look at, review before you talk to the customer, because we don't want to just sell one device. I mean, we have several other devices on the 4000 series platform. We can do bipolar measurements, we can do AC and DC voltages, we can do a lot of different things. So familiarize yourself with the full array of products. If you happen to have the EX version of our demo kit, what you'll find in addition to the devices that I just showed you, you'll find a 9106B intrinsically safe device. One of the key reasons that we have this in our kit is to let people know, let our customers know that we do work with many IS applications, and we have a really, really good product offering there. In addition to that, we have the 4501 enabler, but we also have the 4511, which is our Modbus RTU to gateway communications port. Now this device will actually Modbus RTU to a gateway, and they give you the data, the digital protocols that your customers may want to be working with. Same menu structure on this as the 4501. The only difference is the communication. It looks a little bit different, as you'll see. If you haven't already wired your 4116 for demonstration purposes, you really don't have to consult a manual. If you look on the side of the device itself, you will see where the terminal connections would go for both your input, output, and supply, and which terminal block they belong to. Terminal blocks here, the corresponding terminal blocks you can see are numbered. And we'll talk a little bit more about those terminal blocks as well. So, a couple useful tips in setting up your demo kit, and your 4116 demo kit in particular, is to make some connections. First of all, wire up your thermocouple. And make sure that you tighten these down, these connections down pretty firm, so that you're going to be using this, taking it on, taking it off, and it will get use. And the last thing you want to do is really to make a presentation where the device isn't working, the thermocouple won't show temperature. If, by the way, if you're hooking up your thermocouple, and a good test to see if you've done it properly is to hold the end of the thermocouple. If the temperature goes down, then you know you need to flip these two wires on terminal 41 and 42. The other part of the helpful tip is, once you've wired your power connection, your power supply, what you want to do is continually keep that connected to the terminal block. That way you'll be able to, once you're done a presentation, wrap it up with the terminal block included, and you'll be able to make a quicker presentation. You can easily go into a room, look for the outlet, and plug the device in and show the customer how it works. So why do we call the 4116 a universal transmitter? Well, first of all, the 4116 can be powered with either AC or DC voltage. Doesn't matter. It is a signal conditioner. It provides signal conditioning, as you'll see. It is an isolator with 2.3 kilovolts of isolation. It also will perform scaling. And probably the most important reason is that it has multiple inputs that you can add to the unit, and it will provide 2 relays and an output signal. And we'll get into the particulars of those things. So once you've shown the diagnostic capabilities of the LEDs, now it's time to work with our 4501, our configurator. And as you'll see, it also serves as a local display. Very important point. A lot of customers will like that, would like to see that. Some don't need it. But on this screen, as your display, you're seeing the value in the engineering units that he desires, and know that there are 70 different engineering values in the 4116. So if you're taking a current, you're trying to measure level, flow, you can easily find that value, and once you use that as a local display, the customer will be looking at the engineering units he wants to see. We also show you an output signal here. There's a heartbeat letting you know that the device is working properly, a trending arrow letting you know which direction the value is going, and also relay status. If one of the relays is engaged, you can easily see that on the front of the device. It's a real simple up and down select menu structure. You won't get lost into a menu tree. We try to make this as easy as possible for the customer, and so I'll show you how easy it is. If you're not sure what to do here, you can read the 3rd line, which is a scrolling text, and it's saying, do you want to enter the advanced menu options? You simply select yes or no, and I'm going to select no, because when you select no, you're going to start to program the device. It's important to know you won't find this on the menu selections, but the 4116 can power any 2-wire transmitter, and it also takes multiple inputs, as we discussed. So if you scroll through here, you'll see that we do temperature, voltage, current, linear resistance, potentiometric signals. All those types of inputs we can process. So you select temperature. And this happens to be a thermocouple, as you know, that we're working with, and it's a type K. So now it's asking you, how are you measuring temperature with a thermocouple or an RTD? Know that you can do 2, 3, or 4-wire RTDs with no problem, and that there are 13 different types of thermocouples. Right now it's defaulted to K because I've been working with this device, but you simply scroll through the menu and you'll see in that alphabet, you'll find your perfect thermocouple. The 4116 does have internal cold junction compensation, but we can also work with external. Just know that you need a different terminal block in order to do that, which is a very inexpensive method or a terminal price. So here it's asking you what type of an engineering units you want to work with. Because we're talking about temperature here, our choices are limited to C and F. Now, we have relays, 2 relays here. The relays each have 5 different functions. Firstly, you can turn the relay off. There is a set point function, a window function, and if you're not familiar with a window function, just picture a window. You've got a frame on either side. You set your area inside that frame, and if the limits or the values exceed either side of that frame, your relay will engage. There's an error function and a power function. So what I generally do with my demo of the relays, I turn relay 1 off, and then I work on relay 2. In relay 2, the set point function is one of the most commonly functions that is used. So you first put your set point function in. You select normally open or normally closed. You enter your value. Now, do you want that relay to engage when the value is going down or up? So you either select increasing or decreasing. Your customer can add a hysteresis. What do you want to happen if there's an error in the system? What do you want the relay to do? Open, close, or do nothing? So you select that. And there's also a timer that you can program to from 0 to 1 hour, 60 minutes. Generally, where this would be used is a good example might be you're filling a tank, you're measuring level, and initially when you fill a tank, you're going to have some turbulence. So you may want to add a delay to your relay to make sure that you've really attained that value and you don't have chatter. Both on and off delays. Okay, you've told the 4116 what your inputs are, what your relays are going to do, and now you have an output that you have a choice with. You can select from either current or voltage. If you select current, you can see 4 to 20 will come up, but we have 0 to 20, 20 to 4, all of the variations of the current output. You can select either a high or a low default, 3.5 or 23, or none, 23 milliamp. And here's where you would do your scaling. You're basically telling the 4116 what is 4 equaling and what is 20 equaling. So that way you can take a big span if you have a minus 200 degree thermocouple to 1,000 degrees, and you have a real sweet spot that you want to look at. You can narrow that range by just selecting your low and your high. It's also important to note, if I walked away from this device right now, this would not have held the configuration. You must get to the end of the menu structure. And when you get to the end, you'll know. So it'll say wait. Now, the device has been configured, and that's being held in the device as well as the 4501. There's also some very useful items in your functions in your advanced settings. And probably most commonly used would be the next function, which is your memory. This allows your customer to simply copy and paste the configuration that he's just done on the last device that he worked with. So he may have 10 different parts of his plant that are all doing identical things. He can, excuse me, rather than push the buttons 10 different times, he can simply copy and paste, save and load. So memory is very useful. Display function can change the contrast and the lighting, the backlighting of the display itself, but also it will allow you to tag, alphanumerically tag the device so that you can call it pump 1, pump 2. And just know that if you do choose to tag the device and display that tag will take the place of the third line, which was our output signal on the original screen. So you can do that with the display in the display function. Our next choice is calibration. You can do a single or a 2-point calibration on anything that you're working with. Maybe you have a level system out there, you see a translucent tank, you can tell that it hasn't been calibrated for 30 years, and you can tell the device what the actual value, the real value is, and simply do calibration. There's a simulation mode, which will enable you to test the system to see if it's working the way you've programmed it prior to commissioning it. There is password protection, as well as 7 different languages, and as a safety, latching is available as well. So that's the 4501. One of the things that you should think about, just in the sequence of the way the device is programmed and flows, keep this in the back of your mind or in the front of the mind, you're going to select your inputs first, program your relays, and then program your output. So keep that in mind. You shouldn't be surprised. So make a point to practice with the 4116. Make sure you have it wired up properly. Play with the buttons. Go into all of the options. You really can't get lost. You're not going to get in any trouble. And the more familiar you are with this device, the better your presentation will be. I think you'll see that. And as you do your presentations in front of your customer, what you'll find is that they get better and better and better. And this device will create a lot of conversation. Well, thank you for your attention today. We hope it helped. I hope it helped for you to better understand how to work with the 4116, give you some insightful tips. And please do know that the 4116 can bring up a lot of issues. We can talk about temperature, we can talk about isolation, we can talk about signal conversion as well. It really is a game changer, and it's quite unique within the PR family of products and against our competitors. There's really no one that has quite the capabilities that the 4116 does have. I encourage you to practice with the device and get out and make some demos. It will be your most effective use of time when talking about PR products, because show really does beat tell. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me personally or anyone in the PR team in our US office. We'd be glad to help you, and happy selling. Thanks again.